Would you use a teleporter? You're standing in the booth. The door seals. Something hums under the floor. A light comes on above your head, and you've got about 10 seconds. Here's what's about to happen. A scanner reads you. Every atom, every connection, every electrical charge moving through your brain right now, including the thought you're having about the scanner. The machine sends that map to Mars. On the other end, out of local material, it builds you again. Same face, same memories, same slightly sore neck from how you slept last night. And the body standing here gets vaporized. That's the part they leave out of the brochure. So the question isn't whether the machine works. Let's say it works perfectly every single time. The question is whether you are the one who arrives. Before you answer, I want to plant something, because we're coming back to it. Whatever you decide about that booth, a version of this has already happened to you, more than once. You weren't worried about it. You didn't even notice. Hold that thought. Let's start with why the teleporter has to destroy you. This isn't a story problem. In 1982, two physicists proved something called the no-cloning theorem. You cannot copy an unknown quantum state. It's not that we lack the technology. The mathematics forbids it. To read a quantum state precisely enough to rebuild it somewhere else, you have to measure it, and measuring it destroys it, which means any real teleporter is not a copier. It's a transfer. The original has to go, and this isn't theoretical either. Quantum teleportation was demonstrated in a lab in 1997, and physicists have been doing it ever since, over longer and longer distances. It moves the state of one particle onto another particle somewhere else. The first particle loses that state in the process. Always. That's not a limitation of the equipment. It's how the trick works. So the fiction gets one detail exactly right. To arrive, you have to be destroyed here first. Now, 10 seconds are up. What's your instinct? Most people say it's fine. The pattern is what matters, not the specific atoms. You'd wake up on Mars with an unbroken memory of stepping into the booth on Earth, and from the inside it would feel like nothing happened at all. No gap, no sensation of dying, just a door closing here and a door opening there. Hold on to that answer, because I'm about to break it. The machine malfunctions. It scans you, transmits the map, builds you on Mars exactly as planned. But the vaporizer fails, so you're still standing in the booth on Earth, perfectly healthy, watching a screen that shows a person on Mars with your face, waving. Now there are two of you, and here's what I want you to sit with. The one on Mars is not a stranger. He remembers your childhood. He remembers what you were nervous about this morning. He remembers walking into the booth, and he's certain, completely certain, that he's the one who made it. So which one is you? Take a second, actually pick one. If you said the one on Earth, the original body, then you've just said the pattern isn't what matters after all. The material does, which means the normal teleporter, the one that works properly, kills you every time you use it and replaces you with a very convincing stranger. If you said the one on Mars, that's harder to defend, because the Earth version is right there, still breathing. He didn't experience anything ending. If you said both, then you isn't one thing anymore, and every plan you've ever made about your own future needs rewriting. And if you said neither, you'll need to explain what got lost, given that nothing physical and nothing psychological went missing. There's no comfortable option. That's the whole problem. This is where a philosopher called Parfit comes in. He laid this out in a book in 1984, and he didn't invent the teleporter to be clever. He used it as a scalpel, because here's his move. He noticed that the malfunction case and the normal case are physically identical, right up until the moment the vaporizer fires. Same scan, same transmission, same person built on Mars. The only difference is whether an extra body continues existing back on Earth. And that's strange. Whether or not you survive teleportation now depends on something happening to a body 400 million kilometers away. That has no causal effect on the person on Mars at all. If that's what your survival hinges on, Parfit argued, then survival might not be the deep, fixed thing we assume it is. Now remember what I planted at the start. Almost none of the material in your body was there when you were 7. Your skin replaces itself in weeks. Your blood cells last a few months. Your skeleton rebuilds itself over roughly a decade out of food and water and air. Physically, you are mostly things you ate. So the person in your childhood photographs and the person watching this share almost no matter. There's no continuous physical thread. The rebuild already happened. It just took 30 years. Instead of 30 seconds. Maybe you'll say the thread isn't material, it's experience, an unbroken line of consciousness, except that breaks too. Under general anesthesia, there isn't a gap you sleep through. There's a gap with nothing in it. No dreams, no sense of duration, no awareness of time passing. Surgeons open you up, work for 6 hours, close you again, and from the inside, those 6 hours never occurred. The line was cut. And nobody hesitates about that one. Nobody argues that the person who wakes up in recovery is a copy. So the material isn't the thread. The unbroken experience isn't the thread either, which raises an uncomfortable possibility. Maybe there isn't a thread. That's roughly where Parfit landed. His claim was that personal identity isn't the thing we should care about. What actually connects you to your future self is psychological continuity, memory, personality, intention, the ordinary overlapping of one day into the next. And that continuity comes in degrees. You're strongly connected to yourself yesterday, weakly connected to yourself at 7, barely connected to yourself at 90. There's no extra fact underneath that, no essence, no soul-shaped object that either travels to Mars or doesn't. The question, but is it really me, might not have a hidden answer we haven't found. It might have no answer, because there's nothing there to be right or wrong about. Parfit said this changed how he felt about dying, less like a wall at the end of a tunnel, more like the way the connections thin out gradually until there's nobody left who's much like him. He found that comforting. Plenty of philosophers think he was wrong. Almost none of them have been able to say precisely where. So, back to the booth. The door is sealed. The hum is building. You have about 10 seconds and the machine is going to work perfectly. Somebody is going to walk out on Mars with your face and your memories and your sore neck, and he is going to be completely certain he made it. The strange part isn't that you can't tell whether he's you, it's that he can't either. If you want more videos like this, ideas that quietly rewire how you see something you thought was simple, subscribe. There's a lot more like this coming.